good evening to Asia. We are here in another Hebrew conversation. And if you have questions, if you hear us on Twitter or if you see us on YouTube, you're welcome to join our chat here and live conversation. Good morning, Jill.
Shalom, Ati.
Shalom. Good morning. Nice to hear your voice. How are you
Yes,
this morning?
it's good to hear you too. I'm good this morning. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. We just need to set the microphone. Is it better now?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Good. Good. How was the weekend, Jill?
It was a pretty eventful weekend for us. We work a lot of the time, and so spent a lot of time at the water yesterday.
Mhm. Good. And how is the weather in general in Atlanta those days?
It had gotten into the 40s and 50s, but it was
Hmm.
really nice in the sunshine. I like the cooler air, and so it was pretty this weekend.
Good. Good to hear. Here's Fernando. Good morning, Fernando.
Bom dia, Fernando.
Nice to see you here. Jill, do you have questions that you would like to ask or to share with us?
I'm, I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around a lot of it, and so I really, I don't know how to ask the correct questions yet, and so
Mhm.
I've just been listening and learning from you guys.
Good. Good. But still, if you, it doesn't have to be the correct question, whatever that you have, just ask if it's letter, if it's number, if it's a name. It doesn't have to be, there is no correct.
Hmm.
There is something which is correct in brain, but this is what the streams through us who converse. So there is no right or correct question. So everything is open. So
Okay.
feel free.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Fernando.
Shalom, Eti. Good evening. Shalom, Jill, André.
Shalom, shalom. How are you
Good.
this morning, Fernando?
I'm very happy to hear you, Eti, to hear you, Jill. It's a beautiful day around here, Eti, here in Brazil. So I'm I'm glad to be here. And how are you doing?
Fine. It's a beautiful day here with clouds, but also with sun, and it's beautiful because the color are very, very strong. So it's beautiful, really.
Amazing. Good to hear, Eti. Good to
Good.
hear.
How was your weekend, Fernando?
It was good, Eti. We had a good weekend. It was possible to study a little bit, and we have hot days in the during the day and very cold nights. So it was very difficult for the healthy, because it was
Mm-hmm.
a really change of weather around here. But it was good. I could find some friends and talk a little bit about Hebrew,
Mm-hmm.
and it's interesting at what you just said. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting that I noticed that throughout this entire journey that we have classes with you, that I had these classes, intense classes along these years now, uh, we can develop a new way to think. It's little by little you start to see a new alphabet
Mm-hmm.
with numbers and relations, because the numbers starts to make sense with words. So uh, it's it's not so easy to one who is starting. I understand what you said, because it's not so easy to see it, to grasp all these new meanings that appears.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can say only is that little by little we start to make these relations, and when we do these relations between words and numbers, we feel a new stream of energy. It's like feeling alive with new worlds that open in front of us. So I just want to thank you, Eti, because I always looking at. Sometimes we forget how difficult it is to grasp this meaning, and if it wasn't for you, I'm pretty sure that I couldn't get to this. So I thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your perspective this morning. Because I was thinking this past weekend about this possibility that finally we can open a portal to everyone who wants, and it doesn't matter from which, how do you say, language background does he or she come. It is possible to everyone to access this portal to the Hebrew, through the Hebrew letters, to go through the numbers and to go through qualitative thinking. And it's beautiful. And it's nice. We have a new friend here on YouTube. His name is Isaac Arun from India. And we are very happy to host you here, Isaac. Very, very happy. And yes, I think that we are living in marvelous times in which we can share all of this, because it's an open, I would say it's like open school or open theme of thinking that everybody can come and join, regardless of what former background he or she are coming from. And it is beautiful because it develops in us way to perceive the world in which no education system enables to. Not schools, high schools, universities all over the world do not speak or think or teach this way. So this is very, very unique. And I'm very glad that finally I can share it with you. Good morning from Angeles, California. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. We have friends here. It is so nice. And we have Kevin here in St. Class. Good morning, Kevin. We have a new member here. Pudding. Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Kevin. Can you hear us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. How do you do?
I've been better. I'm not feeling well today,
Mhm.
but I am okay.
Good. Good to hear your voice. Good. We have friends here on YouTube as well on the chat, and we have friends here on Twitter. And please feel free to ask questions. We have here another friend. Hello. Good morning or good afternoon. A friend on Twitter. Budding. So I hope you can speak if you wish. There's an option. Do you have questions or thoughts that you would like to share with us this morning, this afternoon, or this evening in India? Is there something on your mind that you would like to ask? Yes?
It's just one little
Yes.
thing, but these little things that amazes us when we read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading the topic with when Moshe and is on the burning bush,
Yes.
and I was looking at the name Ehie,
Yes.
that is 21,
Yes.
and it's repeated twice, right? Ehie,
Yes.
Asher Ehie, right?
Yes.
And what came to me is that if we take the number 21, that is the sum of the letters here,
Mm-hmm.
and makes it times 21, 21 times 21 gives us 441, that is emit. It's a very very little thing, but it's amazing how we can connect the name of the higher with the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and these little things that we can do with the letters make us happy. So I was just looking to share with you this little topic.
1 second, I'm writing it on the concept board. I shall be that. I shall be. This is what God told Moses in the burning bush. And you said it, Eheye, I shall be. I'm writing it. What is the value of I shall be? Eheye is 21. Each Eheye, I shall be, is 21. Yes? Do you have a laptop?
Yes,
Or
yes, yes.
so each Eheye is 21. And continue, please, because I would like to draw what you say.
And if we make 21 times 21,
Yes.
gives us the result 441.
Yes.
That is emit.
Emit. Emit. Emit is truth. So 21 in the power of 2, which is 21, double 21, is 441, which is emit. So in other words, mathematically, what you're saying that eheye, one eheye is 21, and asher, that is like the double, x double, and 21 eheye, I shall be. Yes, eheye, asher eheye is 21, double 21, and gives us 441, which is from left to right, emet, truth. And in a mirror picture, 441 is 144, which is Adam, human. Is that right, Fernando? Excellent.
Yes, exactly it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is beautiful.
Isn't it? Because you can find in the name of the Lord so many teachings, and we can think that every time that we speak the truth, we speak our feelings, like Kevin just said, how he was feeling,
Mm,
or we just stand with friends and speak the truth. So anyhow we are relating with the higher,
mm.
because when we speak the truth, you are almost saying the name of the Lord. So
Yes, yes. They say in the scriptures that his name is truth. Shmo Emet. Emet. And each Saturday when people are reading the Torah, the Bible in the synagogue, there's like, and every few verses there's a stop, and everybody in the community saying one word, emet, and then the person continues to read a few more verses, and then there's a silence, and then the community says emet. This is how traditionally people read the Bible in the synagogue or in the communities. Emet.
Is that like saying amen?
Yes, emet is like amen, but it's valid,
Mm.
valid, valid.
It's like
It's truth because
support.
yes, Kevin,
It's like showing your support or agreeing.
emet is beyond time and space.
I know,
Sometimes we
but
cannot rest.
the
Yes,
reason why they say it, I'm trying to understand. As a
that
community,
there is in the printed Torah books, there is a space every few verses, and it says emet, and we say emet, that it's truth. It is truth. It is not like how do you say uh, tellings, Lord. Also, the laws and the legend, everything midrashim, the teachings are truth.
Mm.
But it's to give it that we admit that we are present at the moment of reading the Word of God, and the Word of God is truth. The whole Torah, the whole Bible is expansion of one name. All the verses are expanding from one source. So reading few verses and saying emet, like we are evident, we are being, we can testify that it's true. And we say about something which is emet, this is innocence, our innocence. To say emet is to admit that we are not cunning and we are not making a crooked move. Just to say about something which is truth, this is innocence. Like what Fernando says about your comment this morning, to say what there is. To say what there is. It doesn't matter if it's cold, if it's warm, if we have fever, if we have, it doesn't matter. Just to say what there is both innocence, tamim. We were speaking about this in like tamim. This is innocence, tamim. This is innocence. To admit what there is, innocent. This is what God uh, told Abraham: "Go in front of me and be innocent, complete. Don't try to cover the tamim." And like Felipe mentioned, the relation between innocent and emet, because tamim, he mentioned tamim, if we add the aleph, innocent, inside the unity, it's teomim, twins, twins, like they mirror each other. And teomim, twins, they hold the same letters like emet. Now I will write this in two colors you will be able to see. Please, do you have a laptop? Do you see the whiteboard, Kevin, by the way?
Not
Or
yet, but I will
not
work
yet,
my
but
way
you
there.
could, okay, but later you could see I write Teomim, twins, in pink in Hebrew, and I write beneath Emet, and you could see the relations between the letters. Teomim, the letter Tav that open Teomim, is the letter Tav, the last of Emet. And Teo, Aleph, O, is the one who opens the word Emet, truth. And Teo, Mim, Mem, is equivalent to the middle letter Emet, the Mem between Aleph and Tav. So there is a relation between innocence and fitting and truth. And and return to the story in the synagogue, whenever somebody reads the Torah or the verses from the Bible, few, 5, 6, and there's a stop, people who attend the moment says emet. We testify, this is truth. Nobody comes with opinions and agendas. Nobody comes with anything. Just simple, admit the truth. This is it. And it doesn't matter if the weekly portion speaks about Abraham and the binding of Isaac, or Lot and his daughters, and Rebecca and the twins. It doesn't matter. What is happening at the moment of the verses are being read is truth.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's like we ask a child, how was your day at school? And he says, not nice. So this is innocence from the child to say it was not nice or not pleasant. We don't, if he would cover what he feels, it means he cannot share this innocent moment. Innocent moment is to admit whatever crosses our heart. It can be a shiny day or a low moment, or sometimes we don't agree with what is happening. It doesn't have to be loud, but to admit the whispering of the heart. The more we admit the whispering of the heart, the more we can make a progress. Because lies are keeping us, holding us back. Kevin, do you see the whiteboard, by the way?
I'm trying to log in now.
Okay. So we have a friend here. We have Shelton is here. Good morning, Shelton. And Gabrielle, we have a new friend, Gabrielle. Gabrielle, your microphone is open as well. I hope you can hear us, Shelton and Gabrielle. Questions?
Eddie, can I ask a question about Psalms?
Sure.
In 139,
Yes.
6, it was always a big identity scripture for me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help me understand what knowledge means in 139:6?
1 second. I will open the link and put for everyone. 1 second. Psalms 139. 1 second. Second. I'll put it on YouTube for everyone to share. Psalms 139 and verse, you said 6?
Verse 6, yes.
Yes. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. פליאה דעת ממני. נשגבה לא אוכל לה. Too high, I cannot attain onto it. So you're asking what knowledge means in Hebrew, da'at. Da'at. This is the word that you're asking for, the parallel word in Hebrew to knowledge?
Yes.
Yes, the word here I'll write on. Do you have access to the concept board? But you see, thank you for the verse. So you see also on YouTube, yes, there is a.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so the word is da'at. This is it. What color do I have? I have blue, so I'll make it pink that we could have a better da'at. This is it. Da'at. Da'at. This is knowledge. Da'at. The word da'at is divided into two parts. We can look at it, one of the options, to know what knowledge is. Da is to know. To know. At or et is time. In this case, et is time. So what is knowledge? To know the time.
Reminds me of Ecclesiastes.
Which one? Which Ecclesiastes? To everything there is a season, you mean? Time to
Yes,
everything
yes.
under the sun. 28.
Mhm.
28 times.
Eti,
Yes.
if I may, just say one thing. I don't know if it make any sense, but I'm looking here to the Psalm 139 verse 6, and it says Peliah
Yes.
Da'at Mimeni, right?
Yes.
And Peliah is wonder, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
Pele is wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Pei Lamed Aleph is wonder, and Yah is the name of the Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking that with Pele we can make Aleph
Of course.
is the same root as is the same word letters to make the word Aleph,
Mm-hmm.
that is unity, is one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same as we see in other classes, the same stem letters for Eiffel, that is dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering here that if what is wonder is too high for each one of us is to be in unity,
Yeah.
because sometimes we need to uh, we could not stand in unity for too long, you know.
Yes. This is it's very good what you're saying. This is why in Ezekiel the verse saying "V'hachayot ratzot v'shov" and the animated and the animals, the animated elements in us are coming and going. We cannot stay in holiness, in unity, more than a few seconds or few moments. Otherwise, we should not exist in body. The soul would leave immediately. And this is why we experience a few seconds in unity and immediately something draws us back to concrete. Some people experience this when they ascend, and something puts them back into the concrete to stay here. It's not our time to leave yet. There's a beautiful description of the American astronaut. There is a lady astronaut, American lady, and she was circling the planet Earth in an orbit. But since there's no NASA base any longer that she could land, she has to enter the She had to enter the atmosphere through Russia, Russia, say Russian county. And she said that once her capsule penetrates the atmosphere, as long as she was orbiting in an open space, everything was fine. She would just lift a finger and everything was moving. But once her capsule went into the atmosphere, she felt such a sucking, the power of gravity. And she said that her body was so heavy that she felt like somebody pushed her into concrete. So it is very, very different to hover somewhere. Just an example, physical example. Some people experience this, and people who experience this um, are familiar with the shift. This is why Ezekiel says, and the animated, not animals, but the animated part of us in us are coming and going, coming and going. We are, for a single moment, can experience unity and love and no borders and purity, and at the same moment everything can switch and we can find ourselves in a concrete um, square. And those movements between unity and love and mercy and timeless and immediately thrown back into concrete, they shape our vessel. They shape us ability to experience love and to share love. The movement between the two.
And this could have any relation with the kiss of the higher, the kiss of the Lord that the mystic says. There is a danger, right, to be kissed by the Lord. You know.
People, yeah, people who have these relations, they are threatening every institution. They're being hunted. And it doesn't matter in which time of history. It is really a miracle that they managed somehow to live here and to live in the time to yes, to live in the time that they are living, any kind of writing, or the students are documenting their conversations, because those who are kissed, they're not wanted here. Yes, because whatever they will speak they will say the truth, and the truth is, how do you say, threatening? Threatening. Questions?
Are there two forms of knowledge, or knowledge in this example is knowledge of the time, and the this makes you think, or it brings to mind the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So would this be the connection of the knowledge of the time of good and the time of evil?
Yes, yes, yes. Varnam says there is like a diagonal here, and here's timeless or absolute. So everything which is happening here also happening here in time. Everything, and there's like, how do you say? It's like the a portal with two doors. Whatever happens in the absolute, also happening here. And what? It's a very good question. So what does it mean? Da'at or knowledge, da'at, know the times. Whenever something happening to us here, like say school, going to school in time, what is happening in the absolute, in the mirror picture, in the other twin? Maybe in this way I can write it here. We say that emet, excuse me. We say that emet, truth, is like twin. 1 second. It's like twins. It's fit. It is fitting. Te'om. Te'om is a twin. So there is like a mirror. The truth is like, and here we have one twin in the absolute. And here we have another one here in time. We have another twin. And this is the mirror or Yabok crossing Jabok for us. This is the mirror. So a person, let's make a new Aleph. A person drive his car here and see something on the way to work. And he asked himself, if this is what the universe let me experience here on my way to work, what is the absolute truth that mirrors this my experience? This is my question all the time. How do we make a progress? How do we come to make those podcasts and those lessons? If a person who lives somewhere on the planet, now it doesn't matter where he lives, what his language, background, and so forth. Not doesn't matter. If a person feels something here, what does it mean in the absolute? And there's an like a twin or ongoing conversation between what we experience in time and space in every moment of the day to what is coming from the absolute. Do you understand this question or this description?
I think so.
Yes.
So if I see a butterfly move next to the window, So I ask myself, what is butterfly, or the word in Hebrew, in the absolute? So in a way, what happens to us, we don't just experience the butterfly movement, which is at the moment, we start a conversation with the infinite. And at this moment, our lives are getting another value, a deeper perspective, not just short, what is happening here in front of my eyes. This is how the Zohar call it, Ze'er Anpin, little face, Ze'er Anpin, not just what happened to us at this moment, little face, call it, like a child, like young brother, how the Indians call it. But if I see a butterfly here, and I ask myself what butterfly is in the absolute, now we have um, the dimension of Arich Anpin. Anpin is a long face in Aramaic, but also a long perspective. Perspective. This is the wisdom. Wisdom always have what? Longer perspective, not just frontal. Not what happens at the moment. Somebody said a word, to another neighbor, they had no. This is very short. The conflicts, he said, she said, we are responding. No, whatever happens, I return to in the temporal, let's say butterfly here. I ask myself, what is a butterfly in the infinite, in the absolute? And then everything becomes deeper. And you can
Yes.
experience not just the one, our body, which is attached to things very close. We can feel the deepness, how do you say, deepness, depths, and the timeless of the soul. The more we have those conversations inside of ourselves. And also those conversations inside of oneself brings also communication to other people. And this is when this process is getting very interesting, because it goes from one person's experience to another friend and another one and a community, and this is getting really interesting. You're
Thank you.
welcome. Questions? Shelton, good morning. So in a way, every moment that we experience is not, how do you say, finite moment, but it's infinite if we connect it with this side of the mirror, with the east. Let's call it the east. What we experience in time is west, and sometimes it's to confront, how do you say, it's frontal. But if we bring the finite, the west, to the east, we experience the infinite in us and we can share it.
It's
Renee, yes?
it's interesting that Carl Jung says that uh, the healthy man is the one who, in the second part of life, uh, can relate everything with eternity, has this consciousness of eternity, or see that his actions must be related with this concept of eternity, to have meaning, because when we do something with meaning, it's beyond time and space, right?
Yes.
We are not worried about the time and space that we are doing. We just have to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
I was thinking as you were talking, Etty and Fernando, that this is the quote that I really like: is that everything we see is uh, is a shadow cast by that which we cannot see, and behind the dim unknown standeth God watching over his own, that the infinite is beyond time and space, watching in a way that which is unfolding in time.
It is true. Whenever we manage to create those conversations between the moment, the experience that we have in a certain moment, and the infinite, the more how do you say, uh, our life are being lived as 1000, meaning the full potential of love. The moment that we have those, let's say, butterflies appear and it start a conversation, we don't just experience the moment, and in this way we can experience the living 1000 years. The aleph, the aleph, the conversation between the moment and the infinite creates the sense of loving 1000 years as a quality. As we say, those who need numbers, 1000 is 10, double 10, double 10, or 10 in the power of 3. 1 and 3 create love, 13, love. So it doesn't matter from which direction we look at the Aleph. Aleph is 1, or Aleph is Aleph, 1000, or 10, double 10, double 10, or 10 in power 3, love. Doesn't matter. What is very important to create those conversations, not to feel that we are like with our back to the wall. If we are back with our back to the wall and we don't relativize the moment with the infinite, we can experience all kinds of things. Not really pleasant, but it's better to develop this ability to be able to conversation every moment. And then there is a relativization of the moment, plus we can experience love through every, even inconvenient and sad and angry moment. Because love has it all. Thank you. Thank you, Rainy. You see butterfly often. I used to see hummingbirds a lot too. It's very good. Those moments are really, really,
Hello?
yes,
J-
yes, Fernando. We are,
just to just what you and Shelton was saying brought me back to the relationship between Aleph and Ifil
mm-hmm,
at unity and
yes,
darkness, because like Shelton said, is it's a shadow because we do not understand. Sometimes we feel even defeated,
mm-hmm,
because what is happening, it's not aligned with our uh, desire,
mm-hmm,
or what we think that is good or bad. So sometimes this unity appears to us as a shadow, but if we can go beyond, we have this unity. If we rearrange the letters, we have the unity.
yes, yes, because those are the same letters, Aleph and Aleph, Lamed and Lamed, and this is face of it and pay. Ophel or Afel is dark, and Aleph. So This is very good. Aleph is letters as they are in the alphabetic order. Aleph, which is one or unity. The letters are in the order. Why? We start with Aleph. We continue, sorry, we have this glitch. We start with Aleph, which is one. We continue to Lamed, which has value of 30. And we continue to Fe, which has a value of 80. But the sages are telling us if we read a word in which the letters are not in the alphabetic order, we find darkness, or we can find the vessel, the vessel. So when we write the same letters in a different order, like Ophel, Ophel is darkness, or Ophel, Ophel, we see Aleph is 1, Fe is 80, and then 30. So if we move 1, 80, 30, we see here it's not according to the order. So we might find here a word which express um, not a positive pole, so to speak. Do we understand the system of numbering in letters? If we find a word in Hebrew in which the letters are in order, is most of the time it will be positive. But if we find a word in Hebrew in which the latest letter in the alphabet appears in the front, we shall find not positive word. Do we understand this?
That's interesting.
In Aleph here, which is 1, we have 1, 30, and 80. This is unity. But in Ophel or Afel, dark, what we have 180 and then 30. The little numbers are considered to be closer to the light. The greater numbers, they are like vessels. Like we start with Aleph. Aleph has a value of 1. This is the light. And the last is Tav and has the value of 400. This is the light. This is the vessel.
The the light and the vessel, thinking as you were speaking, Etty, that the the vessel captures some of the light, but not all of the light.
Mhm.
Similarly, Emet, if Emet is truth, God is ultimate truth, and we only stand in our truth. So we only capture a portion of it, similar to Yud He Vav He, where we cannot completely know all of what God is because God is beyond time and space, and we are in the vessel, which is um, a part of time and space. So,
Excellent, excellent.
uh,
Yes. Only when the vessel breaks, we have Emet. When the soul leaves the body and the vessel, our clay vessel, the body stays behind, the soul continues, and then we have Emet. This is why they call the world, the sages call this moment Olam HaEmet, the world of truth. because all the subjective filters are being removed and we see the plain truth. Olam Haemet. They don't call it people who die or passed away. They don't use those terms at all. They say Olam Haemet, the world of truth.
Yeah, reminds me of Moses. He could not experience all of God. He had to stand, being mortal. He had to stand within a cleft just to experience a portion of God. But
Yes.
the totality of God he could not experience in this world.
The sages say Shvirato, Shvirato, the breakness, shell of Kli Cheres, clay vessel, Hitaharato, this is his purity. Meaning, we always think how to purify ourselves to be more, how do you say, ready and so. But the sages are telling us that the breakness of the vessel, of a clay vessel, what is clay? It's like body. This is his purification, meaning during the course of our lives, we're trying to be better, to improve, to be more pure, to be more close to the truth. But the moment our last breath leaves and the body stays behind our clay vessel, this is the most pure. I mean, we always, through the course of our life, can um, inspire, or we can stream to more truth, to more honesty, to more purity. We can inspire, we wish to. But the greatest moment is when we leave. And this is the breakness of a clay vessel. This is his purity. Do you understand this?
I think so. This reminds me of Isaiah chapter 6, where he was in the temple and the year the king Uzziah died, and he realized that he was a man of unclean lips, and he dwelt amongst the people of unclean lips, and he bowed down in contrition because he realized he was clay in the midst of divinity.
Mm. We are clay vessel. Yeah, yes. But this is a very good question. So Bala Sulam Rabbi Yehuda Leib Ashlag asks, so if the soul is something so pure and infinite, what is the benefit? It's a rational question. What is the benefit of a soul which is so pure and infinite to come and visit a few grains of dust here? Because we are a combination of dust and soul. So he asks, what is the benefit of such a pure uh, manifestation of light to visit our earthly existence here? And he says that the greatness of the soul is that every soul can illuminate 620 uh, aspects of dust in us. 620 is the value of crown, Keter. So every soul has the ability, now it doesn't matter from where we come, every soul has the ability to illuminate 620 dusts, element or incomplete elements in us. And when the soul enters and shines. This is the miracle that only the soul can do. Only the soul can take a grain of dust and shines it against the infinite.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
This is, I don't know if this has connection, but it's just something that I've been wanting to understand is what the Hebrew uh, understanding or word is for vinegar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Chometz,
I know it's
chometz. Yeah. Speak about chometz, chometz, vinegar. Yes, and just to write the letters of vinegar. This is it.
that, and also like any meaning or insight from vinegar, because it is something that seems to be so much in the scriptures, where you have fermentation, you have yeast, you have bread, it's connected to so many things, and it just keeps it keeps coming to my mind of like, man, I need to understand how this connects.
Mhm. This what makes the bread, you mean, being puffed. This is what you're asking for, like grow.
Yeah, when you make sourdough,
Yes,
it has a very vinegar smell.
yes,
um, right? So there's that. It's also in wine,
yes,
right? There's an aspect where it becomes vinegar after a while,
yes.
if it gets spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know, yeah. So any insight, or if not, maybe we come back to it later.
Yes, so we can maybe there's yes, chametz, like what you meaning also in Passover when there's a request to evacuate the houses. No,
I've never heard that.
no, but in Passover, before the Passover, there's a part of the process of preparing to Passover is to clean the house from yeasts and chametz, vinegar. Mm.
Oh,
Yes, yes. Mm. So we can look at the value of a word. Chet is 8, mem is 40, and sadi is 90. So we have in a way what is the value of all homets? 138. Are we together? Can we calculate together?
it's 138.
138. And if we add, and sometimes if when things they get, how do you say, they get when it has yeast, so it can get broken very easily. When something gets sour, yes, it loses its taste. Like
Hmm.
people with self-inflation, we say that they have this vinegar in themselves.
Interesting.
Yes, we say that people who have a self-inflation or they have like egocentric personality, they are like puffed bread. And in this case, it's like 138, and they need what? The 10 spheres of the tree of life, the 10, and they become 148. 148 is the value of echad,
Mm.
one. So what separates them? In a way, they are being separated. The chomets, or like what you notice in the wine, you mentioned in relation to the wine, also the word. This what separates something from the source, from the root. Makes any sense?
Yes, thank
You're
you.
welcome. There is a question here. So Daniel Osborne is asking, is the soul like a moon in the shining, reflecting of light from the infinite? The purpose of the soul in time is to reflect on the source. Yes, there is a relation, Daniel, between the second 620, the value of crown. If we switch the numbers, we take the zero outside with 62, we opposite the directions of the numbers, and we have 26. Yes, yes, there is a relation between crown 620 and tetragrammaton 26. The value of crown, keter, crown, is 620. If we take the zero outside and we opposite the directions with 26, the tetragrammaton. There is a relation. Also, the four letters of the tetragrammaton, they're here in crown. And then we have name 72 in wisdom and name 63 in understanding. Yes. To your question, Daniel, the soul is like the sun. Even in Latin, we have like relation between soul and sun. Fernando, how do we say sun in Portuguese? If you're here with us, Fernando, a second.
I don't see him.
Okay. So
I think
as
I think he fell off.
he maybe had to continue. Maybe he had to continue, he just said. So there is a relation between soul, neshama, and sun in Latin languages. It's almost sound the same, like we say even solar system, solar system. So the soul is like the sun, and our bodies is like the moon. To Daniel Osborne question. Our existence here in time and space is a reflection of the moon, because the mothers, they have the same cycle like the moon, and this cycle enables the mother to get pregnant and to deliver babies. So our bodies are a fruit of the moon, and our soul is a perspective of the sun. So the relation between not just astronomical bodies, the sun and the moon are not just bodies somewhere in the open space. Our body is the moon, and our soul is the sun. And the relation between them, the sun and the moon, creates the Genesis, Bereshit. Bereshit, from the word Bereshit, and Bereshit is not something that happened in history. Bereshit, in the beginning, what people in the beginning, with those 6 letters, we can create 720 combinations, but 720 is an expression of 362 cycles. One is the moon and the other one is the sun. As the Bible says, at the beginning the moon and the sun were equal, but the moon complained in the 4th day of creation. How can it be that 2 kings you will use 1 crown? And God tell the moon, minimize yourself. So the moon minimize herself, and she's like 355. We have like a lunar cycle is 355 days lunar. Sorry, my pen is not writing. I'll try to be better. The moon minimized itself. She became to be, where is she? 355. This is the value of the word Shana. 355 is the the days of a lunar year. Lunar year. And of course the sun got +5 that the moon lost, and the solar has 365. But together they make 720. So each and every one of us, yes, yes, Kevin,
No,
yes.
please finish and then
So
I'll.
each and every one of us is a perspective of Bereshit, because each and every one of us is a marriage between body and soul, sun and the moon, time and timeless.
This reminds me of Sarah and
Mm-hmm.
Abraham, where Sarah, the hay was taken from Sarah
Yes, yes,
and given to Abraham,
yes,
very much like this.
yes, yes, true.
And they both were one day.
Yes, yes.
Huh.
In 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 Spanish, the word for soul, sun is sol, S-O-L, and the
Mm-hmm.
word for moon is luna, L-U-N-A, similar to lunar. Another perspective on soul is that the soul is the place, the vessel where the spirit dwells.
Excellent, excellent. Shelton, you, I think you have giving here an answer for one of the questions on YouTube. Is the soul here the same as Ruach? Can you repeat what you said about the soul and the spirit to this question?
The soul is the place within us, within our bodies, where the spirit, the Ruach, the Elohim dwells.
Excellent, excellent. And Daniel Osborne is saying, and on the soul side is where we are all connected. Yes, yes. In the soul, in the soul dimension, all of us are connected. Leah Ellison Lill says, good morning from Nova Scotia, Canada. Bless you. I will be here more. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and knowledge. I'm ever grateful. Thank you so much.
Actually, I was going to say too that Daniel's question, if the one of the aspects of God is Hesed, then
Hmm.
we are connected by Hesed, by loving kindness.
Excellent, excellent. Nadelia, good morning. It's very good what you said. Maybe we can bring the picture of Da Vinci, or the 16th chapel, the creation of man. Do you remember the painting, the creation of man?
Yes, yes. In the
The
16th chapel, I've seen it personally. I've seen it up close. Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
we should try to whiteboard. I'll try to do it. I hope that I can.
I will try it
Thank
as well.
thank you. Try to pull it. Where is it? Okay, very fast. The Kevin? Very, very fast. So we see here the creation. Let's find the.
Oh,
Do you see this on the whiteboard? You see the two
yes.
fingers? You see the two fingers, so to speak, on the right. There's God and his, how do you say, family, the heavenly family, God. And on the left is Adam, and you see finger almost touching a finger. You see this? This is the creation.
Mm-hmm.
Every human hand, how many finger does every human hand?
4 fingers, 1 thumb, or 5?
Five. 5 fingers. And our hand, when it's open, it can be round. Is that right? When we open our palm, it looks like round. So we have 360.
Hmm.
360 divide, sorry, into 5. 360.
Hmm.
Let's see what is the value of a finger, or what is the meaning of finger in Hebrew. 360 divide into 5. We have what? 72. Is that right?
I'm a little slow.
It's okay.
So 72 divided by 5. It is,
It is.
no,
Yes?
360. Okay.
So it's good, the mathematics?
Yes,
Very
correct.
good.
That's correct.
So 72 is the value of the word both chesed. Chesed is grace. Grace. So each finger of our human finger has the value of 1 grace. Is that right?
Wow.
Yes? Look, this is the palm that I can make here. So each finger has the value of 72. Each finger is a manifestation of grace. Grace, grace, and so like we have 5 aspects of grace in each hand, and we have total 72 double 10 fingers, both hands, 72 double 10. How much are we? 7 and 20. So every human with his both of his hands and 10 fingers is a manifestation of Bereshit. Do you see this? Or did I go too fast?
No, it's really, really cool.
But before we move on, we said that every finger has a value of 72. Look at the finger of God in the picture. And the finger of God wants to touch men. So God is 1 finger, 72. He wants to touch the human finger to make it contact with us. So what do we get? 144. 72 plus 72 is 144. The value of what? Adam. Yes, I see there are questions here on YouTube and I will answer. Yes, yes, Raine, yes, 700, yes, 720 is the sun and the moon together. Yes, yes. 720 is the sun and the moon together. Oh, Awakened, you asked to speak on Twitter. 1 second. Yes, you have approval on Twitter. So do we see how the creation, even by this beautiful painting in the Sixtine Chapel, we can see a secret in an absolute way. Finger has a value of 72. So to speak, the finger of God tries to touch us, but this is a very symbolic painting. Whenever we try to arrive to another person with a contact, not just physical finger, but write a message, email, question, thinking. So 72, our grace that meets another person's grace, create human, not just in the physical term, but a human feeling in the heart, humanity. When a person speaks to another person, in between them, they are having this infinite image of the divine spirit. Grace, and very good. It's in our hands, grace and creation. It is in our hands. When we open, there was a question here on YouTube, where do you get that our palm is 360? When we open our palm, we have a sense of a round form, like you hold a plate. Our hand, our palm can support a plate. A plate is round. So our palm is round. So each palm has the value of 360. Divide into 5 fingers. Each finger is 72, or grace in Hebrew. Do we understand the concept, or it was too fast?
FT, I wanted to, as you're speaking, I wanted to say in regards to what you're sharing is that in Quakerism, they believe and they teach that there is that of God in every human being. Every human being, if you will, has uh, a a portion of God's presence, God's essence.
Mhm. This is also 72, and 72 is not just 144, which is Adam in Hebrew. It's in a mirror picture 441, which is the value of truth, emet. And Adam, human or human spirit, and emet are like twins.
It is interesting that in this picture, the symbol of Adam is a triangle, and the symbol of God is a very round.
Mhm. Complete. Hmm?
Hmm.
Because it's very interesting what you're saying, that Adam is in a triangle. Adam is a vessel because the triangle is the first vessel. In mathematics, we have like the dot, and from the dot we have an expansion, which is a line, and the next stage is a triangle.
And as I listen, this is so beautiful and so profound, because what I see happening on our earth today is, you know, people are really choosing sides, whether they're going to go with the truth, they're going to go with popular opinion. And on the Bible paint for us, it's like it shows us that the time shall come to where the evil, the lie, the dysfunction, is ultimately is done away with. And as we talk about Bereshit, and we talk about grace, and we talk about people who have these hearts, whether you're whatever race or nationality or ethnicity you are, um, being able to understand grace and understand what the truth really is. It's like you go back to the garden, and he separated the two seeds. They're the serpent seed from the you know uh the righteous seed. And I'm listening to you, making me think of how we're at this point in humanity to where it's like everything's hitting the fan. It's like, who really has love in their heart and who really doesn't? Who really has accepted the grace? Like, knowing that we all, no matter what our nationality, terrible things, and things we're not proud of.
Yes.
But like, who's really at this point to where it's like, what? I'm for love and what love actually is, because we also live in a world where they're trying to change the idea of love, and they're trying to change the idea of what's pure. And so it's just, as I'm listening, I'm like, things are already set in stone, and the Bible already sets in stone what all these things really are. So I'm just like, really, my mind is just being really renewed as I listen, and it's such a blessing to be in this space. So what do you think? I asked you, what do you think about?
Okay.
Because I was listening to you yesterday, and you were saying like something about how you don't believe the Bible is like something like the morals or something. You were saying like some, I forget how you said it, but how do you think, as the Bible paints prophecy and different things like that, and like New Jerusalem coming from above in this place where there's no crying and there's no death and there's no sickness, do you believe that, actually believe that, or do you more so just, what is your view on that?
Just thank you for your question. Just to say that the Bible, as Weinreb beautifully describes it in his books, that the Bible is like a dream, and everything is everything can happen there and in our lives. And the more we see the Bible as a dream, and in a dream everything is possible, we can have a better mirror, like I made in the beginning of our session. The more we understand that the Bible is a mirror of the Spirit, here is the Bible, yes, in the upper hand of the Aleph, and here we are. And the more we understand that this is, so to speak, a dream, and we have a conversation with this dream, this is how our awareness is being changed. This is just the beginning. I cannot open a conversation about this now because we are at the end of our session today, but it's a very good question. The Bible is not a moral book, is not history book, geography, poetry, um, archaeological magazine. It is much more than this. It's the way in which the infinite communicate to us. It's an how to say, eternal communication of the soul. And with this recognition, we can approach slowly the Bible, slowly.
Etty, as you were speaking and listening to others, in terms of that duality you were talking about, I was reminded of forget the rabbi who said that we should we should always keep two pieces of paper in our pockets. One, I am but to say we are but dust and ashes, and the other one, the world was created for
Yes,
me. Keep this
yes,
balance.
yes. The it's very good. One of them is the definition of one, and the other one is the definition of zero. Yes, that we are ashes. This is zero. We are zero. We are nothing. And the world was created for me is the notion of the one. And when we put those two notes together, what do we get? Balance, or 10, the number 10. In this case, we are balanced. If we have those two opposites in the same moment, we can live a very balanced life. Thank you. So I would like to thank all of you who participate in this beautiful conversation via Twitter, on YouTube, or the concept board, the whiteboard, asking questions, bringing pictures, inspiring us. Thank you so much. And thank you even more for opening this beautiful week of Parashat Lech Lecha. This is the weekly portion in which Abraham leaves the past behind him and continues to the infinite future. And with this blessing of Lech Lecha, I would like to bless all of us here, and we can meet here tomorrow at the same time.
Shalom. Thank you, Etty. Thank you, everyone who's on the
Thank
call.
you so much.
Have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Etty.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Bye,
you.
Shalom,
everybody.
shalom.
Bless you all.